Alright, folks, we've got work to do, so no stuffing around. Basically, I've got a iPhone 6 here, that traditional old iPhone 6 with now a little bit of flux on it, which is not correct. And it came in a couple of months ago, and I replaced the battery. And then a couple of days ago, the person complained, well, not complained, but reported that the iPhone just switched off. And it turns out that it had a bad Wi-Fi chip in it, and I've removed the Wi-Fi chip and the short disappeared, but I've already backed up the data on the iPhone, so now what I'm going to try and do, since the data is backed up, I'm going to try and put a new module on it so we can restore the functionality fully of that, and maybe the person can just continue to use this phone rather than migrating them to another phone entirely. So we'll see what we can do. I've got a bunch of iPhone 6s here. I'm just going to have a look and see which one looks like it's the best, and make sure, of course, its Wi-Fi module is not shorted out as well. Okay, a lot of traffic noise tonight. Let's see, this one's got a little circle end dot. They've all got slightly different properties on them. I do have a lot more iPhone 6 boards, but I think this one here might be the closest to what I'm after. Hey Harold, B-Blood. Hey, Mark's here. Hey, Mark. Yeah. Looks a little beaten up. Well, we'll check the main rail. Make sure it's not shorted. Seems alright. Fortunately, being an iPhone 6, we can swap the module without any complications as far as I'm aware. It's the 6S that things start to go downhill for us. We start out just by removing the excess edge fill on it. Unfortunately, I can be moderately brutal. I'm actually running this at a slightly higher temperature than what you'd normally take edge fill off. I'm running at 360, and that's because I'm using this at the same time to heat up the board, because I'm going to just sort of dive straight in and lift the chip up once I've cleared the edges. Whereas if I wasn't doing that, then I would probably stick to like 230 or something like that. Something safer. Hopefully we can lift this without any complications. No, that fucked up. You saw that bobble develop just there. I held on too long. So that one goes in the bin. It's funny, I was getting impatient, but yeah, kind of messed that up. That's liquid damaged. Try that one. Yeah, you can see the bobble there. I just got a bit impatient and I put the hot air too close to it. See, the trouble here is that I'm not caring enough because I've got a reasonable supply of these. And so it makes you a little bit too lax with what you would normally be more careful about. Hey Cam, oh, it's been a long time, Cam. How you going? Might drop the air down a bit. No, mind you, it is already at 28. Try 23. I don't think I let the board get warm enough either. So it was picking up I was trying to force it to desolder or let go before it was really ready. In short, my own dumb fault. I should have just been more patient. This one on the other hand has been very difficult to lift. Shouldn't normally take this long. But at the same time, I can't get the blade in any further. Oh. I don't know what's going on here. The glue's different. That wasn't good. That was a complete cluster. Ed really did not want to let go of that. The air was at 360 and about 25%. But that really did not want to let go. Doesn't matter that I pulled pads, they're dead boards. As long as the chip itself is okay. Oh wow, I can't seem to hold on to anything tonight. I think I should just give up. Obviously we have to put this on a stencil and reball it, but I mean, to be fair, you don't really have to. You can often cheat with this particular one. The pads that are not fluffing up, they're ground pads. There's a lot of good parts you can take from a 6 actually. The 6 contains a good number of very handy bits and pieces. If you were desperate, you could just put the chip back on after this is washed. I keep doing that. Hey there, Pedro. Alright, and we're gonna stencil this up. Now I'm just gotta find a stencil for it. Oh, thank you, Joseph. %99 sure I have iPhone 6 stencil. But 99 is not 100. Actually, where the hell are most of my stencils? Ah, here we go. Nope, that's not a match. That one is far too big. If you're wondering what the background talking stuff is, that we have the annual show, as it were. Personally, I'm not a great fan of it. Here we go. We've got the A8 stencil, which is the one for this job. It's not a great fan of the annual show. It's more like the annual disease bringer and animal distresser. Animal stressor because of all the fireworks they let off. And it just sort of... to be fair, it's already known in advance that you're going to have fireworks, but people forget or they don't care. And subsequently, animals suffer for it. So, just cleaning up a blade here so that I can apply my paste. Paste, paste, paste. The number is basically, look, I'll be honest, the biggest update in version 5 is more of what's yet to come, but it has better open board data support. There's now component values through open board data, and overall it's just a improvement on more of the back ends than it is the user interface or features. But it's the start of the version 5 series, so there will be more to improve and come. There is a bit of information on the website itself about the differences. That was not actually a very dry run. And for some reason, it's not even actually sitting properly. Being a 3D stencil, it would normally sit a little better. Anyway, I think it's because that particular Wi-Fi chip seems to have a lip around it. So here we go. There's a couple of pads on the left hand side here that are going to be a little low, but hopefully we can get away with that. Well, talk about taking forever. Might be because it's a 3D stencil, hence it's twice as thick. Even still. Can we get a little reflow around here? Oh man, it's taking too long. Probably doesn't help that I'm using a 6mm nozzle rather than my usual 9. although volumetrically it shouldn't make any difference. You know, you're still pumping out the same amount of air. Then again, you're probably not, because I suspect that they simply set the RPM on the fan motor. They don't really monitor the actual airflow rate in the hose. Right, now that's set properly. Things are a little skew there. Try and get the reflow down so that all of those pads are sitting properly. That's nicer. What's not legal here? Obviously missed a joke somewhere. Well, I guess I have to take the the board out of the old phone. Oh, right. Reflow versus reefer. Gotcha. I thought it was pseudo-legal here in Queensland now. Hey there, Tom Morgan. Alright, so this, I've already recovered the data off this board, so if things go horribly wrong, it's not the end of the world. It would be nice if we didn't have things go horribly wrong, but if they do, we've already done the important part. So it's really more of a bonus round phase here. And at this point I realise that I have a lot of prep work to do on this board before I can consider putting that chip down. Because somebody didn't scrape off all the gunk. And why would I? Because I thought, well, I've got to get the data off first. Oh well. Didamres, which page are you looking at? Link from the email worked, but the one after the purchase didn't. Alright. Might be something I have to look at after the stream, I'm afraid. So what did you just try purchase Flexboard View? You should have been able to do an upgrade. Okay, I'm gonna have to do some wicking here. Alright, looks like I've got my work cut out for me after I finish the stream. Find out what the hell's happened there for you, Didumros. And I've also got my work cut out for me trying to find where my self-closing grabby tweezers are. Ah, there they are. Some people have a knack, a feel for being able to just scrape the solder clean off with that scrapey tool. I do not. It is most certainly not in my repertoire. Shouldn't really be doing this cold. All this middle stuff is just ground, so you can get a little bit rough with it. Just need to turn it around to finish it off. Let me see the numbers. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Alright, just go to... Let me give you the link. I think I know why. I think. Yeah. Try this one. The difference being the letter S at the end. So that's obviously a mistake in my code. I've got downloads versus download. Silly mistake. We'll get that fixed up. Kind of wonder why no one else has complained. Well, Mark, I can't help it if you're all too scared to. I didn't think I was that... I didn't think I was that nasty a person. Not today, but maybe tomorrow. Okay, bottom left. For this one, I'm actually going to switch back to the 9mm nozzle. Much prefer to use a 9mm when you're dealing with larger objects like this. Oh, Mark, that probably explains why I'm not a great success. Sadly true. Okay, so we're going 30% air, 360 Celsius on this. And push the button to turn it on. Well, the sight shouldn't be down. What the hell? Who's been cracking my sight? I just wanted to be really sure they had reflowed. The site seems to be up and running here. Okay, we do need to add at the very least that one big cap there. Oh, bravo, Paul. Completely jacked that up. What's not helping is that latch that's used to hold the circuit board. It's kind of getting in my way. See if I can pick off those components. Yeah, we got them here, so we'll use those. These ones are a little tricky to get out because they're buried in there. Okay, we've got access to that one. Tiny little bastards. Ow, burnt myself. Oh, damn it. Why am I walking around in Jason Vilma territory? I do not belong here. One more. I might have to pick this one out first before I can actually extract it. Once again, burning my fingers. Gee, where's Paul? I'll have you know the shakes are completely unintentional. But very annoying. Ooh, what the hell? Who dare says Emacs is better than Vim? Everybody knows Emacs is a beautiful operating system with a lousy text editor. Alright, gobbled that up. That's good. Yeah, what I didn't do, I didn't check to see if this Wi-Fi module was shorted before I took it off. Oh well. Because I know there's a good number of the boards that I have, these over here, that are removed simply because they have Wi-Fi failures. Well, it's going to be fun. We're going to find out whether I just did all that for nothing. We'll just check its continuity, see how it looks. Oops. Hey, Teresa. Every moment is one of those moments. Okay. Well, it's not shorted. At least that rail is not shorted. Doesn't mean that it doesn't have other issues, but we'll see how we go. One thing that is concerning me is that it may not... I don't know how the firmware is going to go because it's a different module. Different branded module and version and all that sort of stuff. So I'm not sure how it's going to respond to that. Yes, you check the depth of the water by seeing if your neck broke when you leaped in, or your leg broke, or whatever broke. Most of the repairs that I did for the iPhone 6 were actually baseband controllers. That was more often than not what I would be fixing on the iPhone 6s. I didn't very often do the Wi-Fi. It just never seemed to come up as, a common fault. But the baseband issue was always coming up. And I quite liked that repair. Apart from getting the shield off. Once you got the shield off to get access to the baseband, it was great. But getting that shield off, oh my goodness. It was a tad of a nightmare. Even to this day, even when I don't care, taking that shield off, not that shield, this shield off is just a colossal pain in the backside. Oh, thank you, Shad. Message censored YouTube policy. You don't meet the age range to view. Okay. One day I'll become an adult when I hit 65. I've only just got my training wheels on. There was actually a motorcycle club here in Australia called the Ulysses Club. And I believe it was when you turned 50 you could get your trainee membership. Okay, well, we've got an Apple logo at least, so it's a good start. Hey, Christos. Now I've got to remember what the passcode for this is. Okay, Wi-Fi. Well, we were able to turn the Wi-Fi on, and it is detecting my network. And that's working. Or at least I just better check though, make sure it's not using the mobile network. That would be a unfortunate oversight. And naturally I don't have a ejector pinny thingy. Of course not. But yeah, like I said, it's picking up the Wi-Fi network. It's full strength. It's got the right address. Yeah, that's fine. So we're working. We got lucky. So what I'll do is I'll probably hand this to the customer and say, you know what, just carry on working it and just keep your data backed up, put it on the iCloud so that if something goes wrong, it's much easier to recover from. Well, that's good. I'm happy about that. The only trouble is now I've got to put all the crap back on. The shields and the stuff you don't really want to have to deal with. I mean, yeah, you could just leave as is. That's a little bit naughty. Hey there, Christian. I see you getting fancy there with your sing-song. Of course, it's still possible for me to mess this up, given that I've got to put the shields back on. Shields up, Captain. Okay, 2 shields in this case, and an antenna wire. I have forgotten this wire more times than I care to remember. You always remember it after you put the last pentalobe screw in. Oh, I don't think I'm like any of the Star Trek characters, thank you very much. I'm definitely not Star Trek material. See, I mean, putting these shields on, it's just... ugh. It's one of those things where the microscope can't zoom... Oh, for God's sake. I had that nicely balanced. Oh, that's why I couldn't get it down. Right, good thing I checked that. If you're wondering, that is where the voltage injection line was put in for the VCC main. Oh, trees are moving up into the mountains. That can be good. Right, so here we go. Half the time the hardest thing with this is not melting the damn plastic. Like, you're not really worried about the components. It's the plastic on the SIM tray and the connectors that tend to be your greatest enemies or concerns. Still liquid. Alright, that's set now. Right, our next glorious shield goes on the back here. Well, Teresa, I hope that works out for you going up into the mountains. Hopefully it'll be nice and therapeutic and less concerns about people. Sorry, I just had to focus on getting that down. Hey there, Jim. Is this attitude of a Klingon commander? Yeah, right. I don't think I'm that violent. How dare you say that? Fight you to the death over that. There's no honor otherwise. There's some serious yuck up here. I think we're going to have to give it a bit of a brush clean. Can't go putting it back into the chassis like this. Alright, now one end is... okay, it's the other end. I was going to say one end has a white mark on it, and that is the high side end. This is the low side end. Okay, that's good. Next problem we've got is dealing with the shield that was over this, or the mesh. And look, honestly, I've got no good answers for this one other than a bit of JB Weld. Not JB Weld, gee whiz, no. Never get it off if it was JB Weld. But I'm going to clean this up first and then we'll stick it on with some B7000. Yeah, JB Weld would be a laugh. organically sourced bamboo, and bristles made out of the nose hairs of angry old men, delicately plucked while they sipped on their port. Miles, what do you think I am? Siren? Gee. I do have a range of glues that I use. Yep. Yeah, it ain't pretty. That much is for sure. Ah. I didn't roll my bud, and now I've got bristle little bits and pieces everywhere. I mean, they're not going to affect anything, but it's just more annoying from my point of view. And now, to ruin the perfection, we will use some B7000. I could use T7000 if I want to maintain the consistency of the fact that it's dark, but not today. So it's actually this orientation. By the way, I have in the past used hot glue for this, and it does work. In some ways it works better in my opinion, because you end up with a more sort of solid layer. It's not gooey or anything like that, it's just a firm layer of bonding. Whereas B7000 has this tendency to get very stringy. More than you'd think hot glue would, but the way I do the hot glue, it doesn't happen like that, because what I do is I heat up the frame and then I just simply run the dry or the normal room temperature hot stick, the stick of hot glue, along over the frame, and then that sets down a really thin layer of hot glue, and then I'll put this mesh back over and heat it up again and then just push it down, and it does a good job. Probably should have done that. Oh well, it's done now. This is going to stick. That's just so should I happen to ever happen across this phone again and pull the logic board out, I will know what was done. In theory. I really don't mind hot glue. I used to be very adamantly against it, but that was 20 years ago. And then I found it to be useful. There is a very old video of me on YouTube in my queue of making carbon fiber strengthened aircraft wings using hot glue as one of the binding agents, and it works quite well. It's a very, very old video. Hey there, Mr. Howell. Good to see you here. Okay. Let's start the reassembly process. Hot glue used appropriately is a very nice glue. What I like about hot glue is the fact that it's somewhat non-reactive chemically. It's essentially just plastic that you can redefine using heat. And then of course, you can just roll it off, assuming it hasn't permeated into the lower membranes or anything. So it's a nice, simple, non-reactive, non-toxic type bonding agent. Obviously doesn't work for everything, but it does a pretty good job. And yeah, the fact that it's not highly brittle is helpful for situations where you have movement. Whereas super glue, crazy glue, whatever you want to call it, combined with bicarb tends to not cope so well with vibrational situations. You can get super glue, thicker super glue that will do better with those situations. Yes, Francis, it can over time. It does help if you do use hot glue for that sort of thing to have a couple of holes or ways in which the hot glue can get through and form a mechanical interference fit. That helps a lot. Because yes, you're right, it will over time separate from whatever it is that it's bound to. But there are a lot of situations where it's very good. I guess it's a case of know the properties of what you're using, understand its limitations, and use it accordingly. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's no scan job on this one. Oh, Daniel, Yes, well, I do speak to Soren a moderate amount these days. We have been discussing video capture cards, cameras, and various things. He has purchased the same microscope camera and the same capture card that I'm using now. And then he did finally get the adapter, the reducing adapter that goes between the camera and the microscope body, which is the crucial thing for getting a far better quality image, which he duly found. But we are running into a problem with the capture card and the output of the current camera that he has, which I also have, which is why I have switched over to the Blackmagic card temporarily, simply because this particular camera puts out a signal that the Kona 4 HDMI really just does not get along with for some reason. I don't understand why. There's something that goes on, and they constantly seem to have arguments with each other, and signal doesn't get put through to OBS properly. Anyway, so he's getting a new camera this week, I think, and if it turns out to be a good success, then I may acquire one myself. Hey there, Greg. Alright, come on. Power up. Well, it's quite likely, yeah. I mean, it's listed as a UHD 60 camera, 64K, but it's very fickle. Some days the card will capture it, some days it will not. Oh, gee. So you know when it's working because it starts beeping at you. Alright, we're all good. Yep. Lots of activity happening on this one now. So that's that. The person will be happy. They'll have their original phone back. Honestly, a lot of this I did it for my own self because they were happy to have the data, but then they wanted me to transfer it to another phone, and even with things like 3U tools and everything like that, doing data transfer by performing a backup and then loading it back into the phone, it's never perfect still, but you always have to put your passcodes and everything like that back in. So at least this way then I don't have to deal with that with the customer. And of course I would rather that they now set up iCloud backup. So should anything happen in the future, they just have to get themselves a new iPhone and that's it, it's done. None of this shuffling back and forth through iTunes, 3U tools or Apple configurator. So it saved me time, even though I didn't end up making as much money as I normally would for this particular repair. So anyway, it's 11:30, time for me to head off and do some other things, and the Dummerers, if you're still around, I will send you a message and see if we can work out if everything's all good for you now. Thank you everyone for watching. I'll see you all next time. Until then, you'll take care. I'll catch you later.